Traders, as always, I'm looking very forward to sharing my top ideas for the upcoming week. Now with tensions, seemingly escalating, but also remaining incredibly unpredictable, kind of as I film this beginning of the weekend in the Middle East. Any breaking news or any significant developments could really render all of these plans completely obsolete. So, as always, I'm only going to be initiating positions, the ideas that I lay out here, if price action actually confirms it, all right? So let's start off with the really top idea of the week, which is looking for an exhaustion, looking for a blow off in circle. Sort of coming into this week, this is absolutely by far my top idea. From its IPO day, the low of around 64 after pricing around 31, but at IPO day low from that 64, it's up almost 300% now, closing on Friday in 11 trading days. So as far as I'm concerned, while it's definitely getting quite juicy from a mean reversion perspective, Wednesday's breakout was really day one after having a little bit of a 2-day consolidation and reset. Then we had amazing follow through and an increase in volume and expansion in range on Wednesday. And then Friday was day two. Thursday was obviously a public holiday. So now, given the volume and the range expansion over the previous 2 days, Wednesday and Friday, it's, in my opinion, finally setting up, at least increasing the likelihood of it playing out for a potential day three blow-off move, intraday off the open or in the pre-market, and then failed follow-through, and a lower high and or consolidation breakdown. All right, so aka it's setting up for a potential mean reversion A+ trade. Now, as I've gone over several times in really recently over the past month or so in my IA meetings, in situations like this, I'm not looking to be early. I'm not looking to just try and top tick a stock, all right? I'd rather be late rather than early. Circle is 100% right now on the front side. It hasn't broken below its volume weighted average price and held below intraday. It hasn't breached its uptrend, and while it is beginning to extend to the upside, it hasn't exhausted to the upside yet. We haven't seen that blow off volume followed by a significant failure and then failed follow through thereafter to confirm that momentum shift. We haven't seen that yet, so it's nearing that point in my opinion. It's definitely in the final innings, I would say, but it could still go a lot higher. We could see, barring something happening over the weekend that causes the market to gap down significantly, we could see 265, 260, 270 on a gap. We could see those prices early in the morning. So until then, it's really waiting patiently for me on the sidelines for confirmation. In an ideal world, like I've said, I'd really like to see a significant gap higher on Monday, followed by some exhaustion, volume exchange, and then an A+ entry on a lower high thereafter that fails to follow through, or a consolidation breakdown through the lows intraday. For example, very similar to what we saw on MSTR, SMCI intraday, or even more recently what we saw on CoreWeave. I think it was on June 5th. First red day setup where we had a nice intraday reversion. But all of this, like I said, could completely be rendered obsolete depending on what happens, over the weekend, from a geopolitical perspective. All right, so if we do get that gap down and then perhaps come into resistance from pre-market or from Friday, after gapping down, maybe we get a first red day setup and a good short presents itself against key levels from either the pre-market or resistance from Friday. Next up is Nebius, NBIS. Now, Nebius is definitely, in my opinion, one of the better looking charts right now from a momentum perspective. After racing higher prior to this consolidation, after racing higher, really playing catch up to CoreWeave, and in my opinion, I think really getting discovered by Wall Street and Main Street. It's quietly now pulled back off of its highs, off of its 52-week highs. It's spent a couple of weeks consolidating, but given how extended it is still from its 50 and 100 days, so more mid to long-term moving averages, given how extended it is, I'm not looking to enter for a let's say up to a month position. It would really just be a multi-day position here. So instead, what I am really looking for is further consolidation, further pullback, maybe a further decline in volume. And then if Nebius is able to reclaim its 10-day simple moving average, that's where I'll look to get long for a multi-day swing trade with a low of day stop. In the past and recently, it's demonstrated incredible ability once breaking out of a consolidation. It's demonstrated amazing momentum in its most recent cycle. So I'll definitely be looking for about a 3-day hold here. I'll be exiting using an ATR strategy, and I'll be trading against the previous day's low. Now, just some additional thoughts and ideas and plans, starting off with HIMS. The chart speaks for itself here. It's just a beautiful cup and handle pattern that's being formed. If I were short after kind of 6-3, after 3rd of June, after this day's action, I would be getting quite a bit nervous right about now, but it's not a main priority for me reason-wise, because I think the real entry was closer to $60, not 65 intraday. But with that being said, if we do push above 65 and start to base above prior major resistance, I'd be open to buying breakouts intraday for momentum and a potential squeeze through 66 and through 67, just for some intraday action. Nothing monumental there. RBRK, technology software leading name previously. It's starting to pull back quite sharply now after giving way to its 10 and 20 day. It's really just going to be on watch in the coming days and weeks to see if this can reclaim and base at or near its short-term moving averages after pulling in a little bit more. And if we can do that, confirming a high low within its newfound uptrend and being a leader within its sector and industry, it might provide a nice long entry for a multi-week swing trade. Tesla, obviously, this one seems to always be on the list for me. It remains really on close watch going forward now for a swing long entry. If we're able to really clear this 20-day moving average, consolidating nicely now the last week between a 10-day and 20-day, if we're able to clear the 20-day and we're able to start to base and hold near 335 and push above 335, I'd definitely be open to getting long for a multi-swing trade, target one being around 350 major resistance. Last name on the list is SMCI. Beautiful base, beautiful consolidation above converging mid to long-term moving averages, and then shorter time moving averages, a nice high-low above that base. But we're really struggling, SMCI is struggling to really clear its resistance around 45. So for me to really consider a long here, I'd really need to see this firm up over a day or 2 days with resistance 45 really becoming newfound support, and obviously SMCI showing some relative strength to its peers and sector. But overall, it hasn't been easy from a swing front. I'm definitely seeing a lot of leaders, a lot of leading stocks within those leading sectors. For the most part, they either remain extended or they've started to pull back, like RBRK. But in any case, neither setup and positioning right now is, broadly speaking, is really providing an excellent entry point from a risk reward perspective. So, recent breakouts, I'm seeing a lot of failed follow through, whether it was, A-Lab end of last week, after setting up beautifully, significant failed breakout through 100, close near low of day, and the list goes on and on and on. So right now, I think it's all about really just monitoring flow between sectors, any rotation amongst leading sectors, being extremely patient, and just overall, broadly speaking, allowing the market to dictate your position, allowing the market to pull you into a position rather than trying to force positions in setups and names that currently right now just isn't working. So that's everything I have for the upcoming week. Obviously, there's a lot going on geopolitically, so we'll see what happens later in the weekend, any new developments, as well as on Monday. But that's everything I have for the upcoming week. As always, drop your thoughts, your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you're watching, what your top stocks are for the upcoming week, and wishing you all the best. Good luck.
So you're an active trader, not doing as well as you want, not doing as well as you deserve, and you just can't figure out why you can't become profitable no matter how hard you try. Well, let me show you why. This is your competition. The traders in this room. This room right here is full of elite traders, some of whom are making 7 and even 8 figures a year. In fact, our top guys have made nearly 20 million each in net trading profits in a single year. Let's head to my office so I can share more. So you're probably used to seeing videos of lavish trader lifestyles, trading gurus trading off of a laptop for an hour a day, heck, maybe even 15 minutes a day, and then them relaxing on some secluded beach for the rest of the day. Well, All I can tell you is that our traders train like pro athletes. They live and breathe the markets and are continually working on their trading skills. Because at our firm, that's what we found it really takes to make it in this game. I'm Mike Bellafiore, co-founder and managing partner of SMB Capital, one of the world's top proprietary trading firms located in Midtown Manhattan. And we're always looking for trading talent to hire and develop. And not just to trade in-house on our desk, but also to trade from their own home, entirely using our firm's capital. And we have numerous traders doing just that, allowing them to make upwards of 7 figures trading the firm's capital without risking their own money. But to even get a shot at something like that, you need to have the right training. That's why we're doing a new free online presentation in which we share how you can get an interview with SMB to become an in-house or remote trader, trading firm capital without risking yours and gaining access to all of our firm's coaching and resources. And the best part, you don't have to be a profitable trader yet. In fact, we prefer to mold profitable traders with our methods and our techniques. That's why we have just 3 simple criteria that can earn anyone an interview. We're looking for highly ambitious and determined traders who fit our culture first and foremost. So if you believe that could be you, sign up for the free 1-hour online presentation by clicking the link that's in your top right corner of your screen now.